Shounen Jump is undoubtedly the biggest and most well-known manga magazine in the world. They house some of the biggest manga titles in the industry such as Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, and more. Although Jump became famous because of these juggernauts, they also became famous, or dare I say infamous, because of their brutal methods when it comes to their serialized titles. A sudden drop in sales and popularity can result in a series to drop down the top list and eventually gets axed or cancelled. But this survival of the fittest method that they adopted kept Jump as being the greatest in their field, and it also helped them to produce high-quality stories and worldwide phenomena. But we're not here to talk about the victors. We are here to pay respect to those who didn't make the top. To those who I think had the potential to be big but was robbed by the opportunity that it should have. Here are my 10 best cancelled manga series from Weekly Shounen Jump with the most promising stories and unique concepts. But before we go to the actual list, this video is sponsored by the Shounen Jump app. Man, I wish that was true, but no, this video is actually not sponsored, god damn it. But regardless, I'll still plug it anyways because just for $2 a month, you can now access the whole Shounen Jump library from its older titles to the new ones. And that's a lot of manga, folks. This app was actually a huge help with putting all of this manga together, so if you can afford it, then you should avail a subscription. This way, you can also directly support the industry, which is very good to be honest, so do it. Now, to the actual list. ArcAge is by far the first manga series that I read that didn't deserve a cancellation, concept, and story-wise. I didn't even think that I would see a manga about acting, but here I am, in the presence of an incomplete masterpiece that was robbed because of the indecency of its creator. If you don't know the whole story behind the cancellation of ArcAge, let me summarize it for you. The writer of ArcAge, Tatsuya Matsuki, was arrested on suspicion of sexually assaulting 2 teenage girls. This resulted in the series being cancelled and officially removed from all official platforms. So, if you want to read this series, then I guess the only way to do it is by piracy. It had a good run of 123 chapters, and all I can say is, what a missed opportunity it is. But let's move on to the more older titles that I'm surprised hasn't gotten an anime adaptation yet because they definitely deserve it. The first one is Siren. Siren follows the adventure of Ageha Yoshina, a high school student who is chosen by Nemesis Q as a participant in the Siren games. The games take place in a world known initially as Siren, which is revealed to be the real world a decade in the future. Ageha and his friends attempts to alter the future and save the world from becoming Siren. And the second one is M0, which follows a high school student named Taiga Kuzumi who was admitted to a magic school under special circumstances. Both of these manga is your typical battle shonen type of stories that Shounen Jump is known for. Although they are the same genre, Siren leans more on the mature side while M0 caters on the not so mature side of the shonen demographics. But you can rest assured that both have entertaining stories and amazing fights. But if I can pick one out of these two, then I'd pick Siren because like I said earlier, the story is more mature which perfectly aligns on my taste. It's also more engaging of a read and the art style still looks amazing given the fact that it's already been a decade since the manga finished. But M0 is still good story-wise and action-wise, although the art style didn't age well in my opinion. Or maybe it's just the scanlations. Who knows? But either way, you still need to check out these two because they are good. This next one is also a pretty old series that was published back in 2008 from the same author as Nisekoi. Double Arts is about a boy and a girl that is forced to join hands for all eternity. In a land savaged by an epidemic known as Troy, the only people with healing arts capable of stopping the seizures caused by the disease are the sisters. Although they have a high resistance to the disease, they are searching for a person who is truly immune, so that they can find a cure. The main character is Sister Elrain, one of the sisters who becomes infected with Troy. But when she touches Kiri, a seemingly ordinary boy, her seizures stop. Could he be the one? This is the most surprising manga in this list because I didn't imagine that I will like this manga so much. It's from the same author as Nisekoi but it's completely different from it. As much as I like the premise with the whole holding hands for all eternity thing and also some of the fight scenes, what I truly enjoyed is the romance aspect of it. The author really has a talent on writing romance stories and Nisekoi is a prime example of that. But the thing that surprised me the most is the fighting style of the two main characters. Because of the fact that they need to hold hands every second of their life, they invented a fighting style that best suits their condition and it was called double arts. The core principle of double arts is dancing. And when I read that, I was mind blown because it was so brilliant and it really suits them perfectly. That concept alone is enough to put double arts in this list. Now that all of the older titles have been taken care of, let's now move on to the more recent manga series that got axed from Shounen Jump. Robot X Laser Beam is another sports manga from the same author as Kuroko's Basketball but instead of basketball, this time, it's about golf. When a high school boy who's been nicknamed Robot due to his unemotional demeanor and lack of social skills encounters golf for the first time, his life takes a dramatic turn. Personally, I have never seen a manga about golf before until Robot X Laser Beam was published. And like most of you, I also don't have any knowledge about golf. I don't know the rules, the equipment used, or anything related to it. The only thing that I know from watching some TV series is that it's a gentleman's sport, something middle-aged men do for a hobby. But when I read Robot X Laser Beam, I legit learned a lot about golf and it was exciting actually. Coupled with a great art style and his past experience with writing Kuroko's Basketball, the author managed to hook me in with a sport that I don't know nothing about. So, check out Robot X Laser Beam. This next one is another battle manga that is so amazing I can think of any idea how it was cancelled. Black Torch is about Jiro Azuma, a descendant of a shinobi who has been learning ninja techniques his entire life. But in addition to that, he also has the ability to talk to animals. One day when he rescues a strange cat named Rago, he learns that the world is filled with spirits called Mononoke that can take the form of both people and animals. However, their meeting is cut short when they are attacked by a hostile Mononoke who is after Rago's power. First off, the art style is fucking good. Like, look at these random manga panels. Every panel looks like a money shot because of how amazing, gorgeous, and detailed they are. This is easily one of the most good-looking manga that I've read for a long time, and because of how good the art style is, they elevate the fight scenes into another level. This can easily compete with the greats in terms of art style and overall fluidity of the fight scenes, but I guess in terms of the story, it's still far behind. But that doesn't mean that the story is not good, because it is. There's just nothing unique with the story, I guess, that's why it got cancelled. But overall, still a fantastic read, so you should check out Black Torch. Next up is Neolation. The story is about this genius hacker named Aratawan or Neo who solves problems from loan sharks' absurd contracts to mobile apps that can induce suicidal tendencies to a person just by using his computer and hacking skills. Honestly, hacking is a pretty common concept with sci-fi stories like this, so there's nothing new to it really. But the charm of this manga is its scope, because unlike sci-fi stories that deals with global threats with massive consequences that can affect the whole world, I'm talking about you, Bloody Monday, Neolation dialed it down a little bit and focused on one city which is actually a breath of fresh air. But I think the limited scope is also what caused Neolation to be cancelled because there's no real big threat, so the story quickly became stale and boring. But it's still a good read, so check it out. This next one is about ninja. No, not that ninja. The other ninja. That's the one. It's no question that Naruto popularized the concept of ninjas and launched it to the spotlight, and any anime who has even the tiniest bit of ninja concept in them is instantly compared to Naruto. Maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen another ninja anime that really took off. I actually have high hopes that Tokyo Shinobi Squad is finally the one who will break this curse, but it was sadly cancelled earlier than I expected. The story is set in Tokyo 2049. Thanks to the Galapagos reform enacted by the government, Russia, China, America, and Japan are now connected by a hyperloop system. The globalization has turned Tokyo into the most crime-ridden city in the world. To fight the rising crime, those who have been working in the shadows since the Sengoku period are needed. They are the Shinobi. This is ninjas in the modern world fighting crimes with ninpo techniques done right. Boruto should take notes with this manga because it's so good. There are no big explosions and world-ending attacks either, like in the later parts of Naruto Shippuden, which is a fresh sight in my eyes. This feels like early days Naruto when the story is still about ninjas and not aliens and white zombies. It shouldn't have been cancelled that early because it has so much potential. What a waste. Before we move on to the next one, I have a question for you guys. Would you believe me that there is an ancient civilization in the past that is more advanced than we are today? Would you believe if I say that today isn't 2021? That 100,000 years has already passed and that ancient civilization was wiped out by an unknown reason, and the second round of humanity, which is us, will be wiped out just like that ancient civilization was? This is Noah's Notes. If we're talking concepts alone, Noah's Notes is already up there. To know the past is to know the future. This is the central concept of this manga. By collecting these so-called notes that the ancient civilization left after its destruction, archaeologist Noah Minami Umberbach's goal is to pin down the cause of that past destruction and stop history from repeating itself. If that didn't sold you on the series, then maybe this one is not for you. This last one is the most recent manga on this list from Shounen Jump that got cancelled, and like Noah's Notes, this is easily one of the most unique concepts that I've read for a long time. Time Paradox Ghostwriter is about a passionate rookie manga artist named Teppei Sasaki who dreams of getting a series in weekly Shounen Jump. One day, he gets a copy of Jump from 10 years in the future. Is it all a coincidence or is it fate? Whatever the case, destiny is about to change. Time warps. Destinies intersected for a tomorrow that was never meant to be. The future of Jump is here. You know, I'm what they call a picky reader. If I don't like the concept or the drawing or the character interactions, I'll immediately drop a manga 100%. I just can't be bothered by manga that don't interest me. I'm always looking for that new experience, if you know what I mean, and Time Paradox Ghostwriter gave me that new feel. It's fresh, it's gripping, it's a taste that I've never tasted before. Reading the first chapter gave me a roller coaster of emotions. In one bit, I was sad because of failures after failures of work that the main character has to endure. Then I was hopeful because of his never give up personality. And then I was devastated because after all the hardships that he lived through, he still hasn't reached the dream that he wants to pursue. And then together with him, I was hopeless because nothing goes right. And then I was shocked, and then confused, and then amazed, hyped, hopeful again, and in the end, I was dumbfounded of how amazing that first chapter is. All I can say is give that first chapter a go and come back here and tell me if what I just described to you is wrong or not. And those are the 10 best cancelled manga from Shounen Jump. If you haven't noticed yet, this is a recommendation video, so please check out all the manga that was featured in this video because even though they got cancelled, they are still good mangas. And that's it for me for now. I'm the Villain in Glasses, and enjoy reading. Bye!